Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we talk the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football. From the latest signings to this year's breakout star and all of the news in between, as always, I'm Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, man. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, man, last show went so well, I think.
We thought we'd just give you another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
What are we doing today?
We are going to discuss our playoff favorites,
okay,
which is probably not going to take that long because...
No, the big discussion is the sleeper teams.
Exactly. So that's probably, we're going to hold that for last.
Yes.
So...
The tricky thing is when we have favorites and sleepers, so say a team like... I'll wait till we do our favorites list because I don't want to say a team you might have.
Yeah.
But say there's a team just on the cusp, right, that's maybe made the playoffs before, but we don't think they're our favorites.
Or they've been in discussions.
Exactly. We can't put them as a sleeper team. A sleeper team would consist of a team who has been around the mid-teens that could make a push, who has a good-looking schedule coming up. A team like that. So keep that in mind.
And trust me, I got some sleepers in there.
All right, man. I can't wait to hear it.
I can't wait to hear your list.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll start because you started last time. Like you said, I'll go ahead and start with my favorites list. I'm sure the 5 I have on here are going to be no surprise to people probably whatsoever, I would say.
I'll let you know if I'm surprised or not.
Okay.
I will.
Number 1, Alabama.
Oh, you're going from 1 to 5?
Just, not in order. Just team.
Okay.
I just, like I said, I just have them. So,
okay.
First, Alabama. Obviously, Alabama, winners of last year's college football playoff, numerous BCS titles. It's not like it's hard for Bama to get there. They're there in the discussion every year. So Alabama would be the first of my 5. Again, no order. Number 2, Clemson. Again, no surprise to anybody that literally was the championship game last year. Number 3 would be Oklahoma. Oklahoma indeed, behind somebody I had on my Heisman list, like I told you last episode. Very good quarterback there in Baker Mayfield. So, again, probably not a huge surprise to anybody there. Number 4 is a little bit more of a surprise, I suppose, is Michigan. Harbaugh's on the up. I think he has a good quarterback over there in with Michigan, and I think he's got a good team. He's building something. So I got Michigan there, okay? Last but not least, Stanford.
Oh, okay.
Threw Stanford in there.
Okay, you know what?
That offense is hard to keep down, homie.
My list is a little different than yours.
Okay.
Okay. After you just said Stanford. It's not surprising. I just think it's more difficult for them to make the playoffs.
I do. That's why they'll
make a bowl game, but
yeah,
but it's hard.
The playoffs are hard to make. I mean,
they are. It's only 4 teams. Come on, give it to 6 teams, guys. Come on.
They want to make it 8.
I'm for that, actually.
It should take like a whole month to do it.
And I'm kidding. That's what the people want. I'm kidding. Which I kind of understand why they don't want to expand it so fast.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to go into that. I'm going to tell you my list. And it's a little similar to yours.
Okay.
I got Alabama.
Okay.
I don't think I need to go any further.
No.
Clemson. I don't need to go any further. Last year's runner-up, Deshaun Watson, Heisman candidate, which you can listen to our candidates or our previous episode if you guys happen to miss it. So
episode 28.
Exactly. And I actually have Michigan as well. I don't really think they're a surprise team, in my opinion. They're probably going to be a little quiet beginning of the year, but they're going to make some noise late in the season.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Harbaugh is doing something great over there. And I also have Oklahoma.
Wow, so our lists are almost exactly identical.
Almost.
I don't know what you mean, but you said yours is a little different. And if you mean a little by literally the last one,
The last one. I got Florida State.
I thought about putting Florida State on my list.
Yes,
but they missed my list, so they won't be on my sleeper list. Florida State, TCU, teams like those teams.
Yeah.
BYU. I'm not talking about BYU.
I almost put TCU on my list,
excuse me, are teams that are kind of more favored to make it as opposed to not make it, at least up in the conversation, so can't be a sleeper.
I didn't put Stanford on my list because, I think it's going to be a really tough road for them. I almost put TCU on my list. I didn't put Baylor on my list because,
we had all the stuff going on.
We talked about them on 3 different episodes, so I don't want to go any further than I have to. But, yeah, these are my 5 teams to on the hunt, playoff hunt.
Okay. Now, so taking a look at those 5 teams, but excluding Bama, excluding Clemson, pick your other 2 that would make the playoffs.
Oh,
it's 4 teams.
On this list?
Yeah.
Michigan and Oklahoma.
Michigan, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have a favorite to win the playoff as of right now? A favorite number 1 team?
I got Clemson, man. Clemson.
You think Clemson comes in and
Alabama wins too much, man.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like if you're not an Alabama fan, you just get so tired of Alabama.
They're kind of like the New England Patriots of college football.
Well, it's always winning.
Yeah, well, not only that, it's just that
they're like the Yankees.
Like too. I would say the Lakers, but I'm actually a Laker fan, so I'm not going to say that. And they haven't won in
that's
a few years.
They're like the Yankees. They're like the Yankees up to 2008 because they haven't won anything since then. But
they're like that was a good team actually. The Yankees.
That was a really good team.
Really good team. But those are my 2 favorites. Besides Alabama and Clemson,
Okay.
I got Clemson and Alabama in the national championship.
I would love to see a rematch in which Clemson wins that game.
Exactly, and then I think Deshaun Watson will have a really good game like he did last year. And I can see Michigan and Oklahoma playing against each other.
Okay.
I could. Florida State, it might be a little tough for them.
Might be a little tough for them to get into the conversation.
Yeah.
That 5th team is always, there's always an argument to be made for that 5th team to be in, or even the 6th team to be in.
Yeah.
And it's definitely an inaccurate
science. And they want to expand it to 8?
Well, the first thing that sounded like they wanted to do was expanding it to 6, being that the top 6 to 3, those 4 teams would be pretty much in the same format as right now, with the 1 and 2 getting a bye, and then lowest seed plays 1, and then the higher seed plays 2, and then championship game from those 2 winners.
I think it should be 6. Honestly,
that's not a bad idea.
I don't think it should be 8. That's a little.
8's a little much because you have 2 quads of 4. You have 2 sets of it.
Which, if it's like 4 and 4, then I'm 4. But you're gonna have too many bye weeks.
You're gonna have a bye week again. It'll be 6 teams.
Exactly, and
so 3 head-to-heads.
Like you said, it's gonna take like a month. Which I know some college fans will like that, some won't. Universities are not going to like that for these programs.
Yeah, extended amount of time.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to like that at all. I think it's fair to put them at 6.
I think I see 6 as a conversation, and I would be 100% okay with that, actually.
I would actually like to see, say if it did spend to 6 teams, Alabama and Clemson will have a bye, because I think they're going to be number 1 and number 2. Then that means Michigan will probably play, because I will have them in number 3. Michigan will probably play the lowest seed. And then Oklahoma will play Florida State, which I have Oklahoma at 4. I have Oklahoma at 4 and then Florida State 5. Mm-hmm. I think that would be really good. We can potentially have a 6 team play in number 1 seed, possibly make it to the national championship.
It'd be crazy.
We could possibly have a 5th and 6th team against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would make the college good even better to watch.
The college game, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would add some competitiveness to it. I think that it would add a ripple to it because, like you said, if it was, say it was 6, right? The 1 and 2 have that bye week. So 3 and 4 play 5 and 6. 3 playing 6, 5 playing 4. The winner, so say 6 beats 3. And say 4 beats 5. Then 6 plays 1,
mm-hmm.
and 4 would play 2. So even then, you're still playing like outside what it would normally be. And say like 6 wins, say 4-1, or say 3 beats or 4 beats 2, whatever it is. That's just like everybody who's not yes, you want to tailor towards the fans of the schools as well. But college football fans, if they don't like either of those teams, like say you don't say it's Bama versus. Well, no, Bama's hard because if you don't like Bama, if you're not a fan of Bama, you usually don't like Bama.
Yeah.
Say it's like Michigan, right? And you don't hate Michigan, but you're not a fan of Michigan, and they're playing an underdog. Me, as a fan, would love to see the underdog beat them.
Yeah.
Because that's just entertaining, you know? So I think that'd be a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Something that we could keep an eye on, you know?
We could, yeah. Man, I wish I can make that change right now.
Make my own game.
Make my own.
It's like the Dr. Pepper commercial. It goes,
yeah.
I'm responsible for the college football playoffs. Love that commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and Jeremiah is going to hit us with his sleeper picks and a little bit of description on each of them for the college football playoff. Again, we said sleepers, not favorites that just missed the top 5. We're going to say sleepers, okay? So we'll be right back at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. Don't go anywhere.
Don't y'all be sleeping now.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we are now going to talk about our sleeper picks, our dark horses for the college football playoffs. Jeremiah and each have 5. So, again, I don't have an order for mine. If you do, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't have this in any order.
Okay, yeah. So no order, no least likely to most likely, so just some names. So when you're ready, go right ahead. Again, just like last episode when we did our sleepers, I will wait until you're done. I won't say that I have any of the same. I will wait. So when you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. I am ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Then go ahead.
All right. First on my list as a sleeper team for the college football playoffs this season, University of Houston.
Okay.
Yes. The Cougars finished 13-1 in Tom Herman's first season as head coach last year. They have 11 stars returning, including Greg Ward, who we talked about previous episode. And they just have a solid front seven. Defense had 21-plus turnover margin last year. It's going to be hard to replicate that, but this is a solid defense. And they have 2 tough matchups. One against Oklahoma, one of our playoff teams, and the opener at NRG Stadium. And Louisville on November 17th. So that might be a matchup between potential playoff teams.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
And they need to finish regular season 13-0 to have a shot. And, yeah, I think they're a legitimate team to look out for. And they'll probably be the first group of 5 team to contend for a playoff appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, playoff spot. And next on my list is actually Louisville, who play Houston November 17th, like I previously said. And Cardinals, they returned 18 starters, including Lamar Jackson, who was a dark horse candidate for the Heisman Trophy in the previous episode. All ACC linebacker Keith Kelsey and safety Josh Harvey Clemens. I love the linebacker duo between Devontae Fields and Kelsey, and I think they're actually the best in the nation.
Okay.
They will play Florida State and Clemson within the first 5 weeks, which I kind of mentioned in the previous episode. They're going to play Houston on November 17th. I said that like 3 times already, which I think is actually going to be a really big-time matchup for both teams.
Okay.
And Bobby Petrino's club is one of the teams to watch out this season.
Yes. They are looking to be a pretty fiery team leading into the year this year for sure. Yes,
they on fire. Okay. And then I have North Carolina as a sleeper team as well. The Tar Heels went 11-3 overall and 8-0 in conference play in Coach Larry Fedora's 4th season.
Fedora.
or Fedor. I don't know.
Maybe it's Fedora, man.
I hope I didn't butcher his name. If so, can you guys let me know? All right. Last year they finished number 15 ranking, which was on the Associated Press poll, top 25. That was the program's first finish in the top 25 since 1997.
Whew.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
So this has been the best season they had. The Tar Heels have a tougher schedule this season, but they're also the heavy favorite in the Coastal Division and the ACC, which is probably the weaker division out of the two. If the defense can improve and the Tar Heels collect wins against Georgia and Florida State, or if they happen to compete really well, keep it close, North Carolina can play their way into a playoff conversation. So,
I like it, man.
I like it. Like that analysis?
I do like that analysis.
Very in-depth. All right. We have the realest analysis here. I'm kidding. And then, like I remember I told you before we did the show today, I have two teams, sleeper teams that are from California.
You did. Yes, you did.
I did. So here they are.
Let's hear them.
UCLA.
Okay.
Yes. Bruins have the most talented quarterback in the Pac-12.
I don't agree with you on that, but he is very good.
Most talented quarterback.
I think Luke Falk has a better. I think he has better pocket awareness than him.
You can probably make. Well,
I think he's more accurate as well.
Well, Josh Rosen is
He's
sophomore.
very good.
He's a sophomore.
Well,
so
Luke's a junior or a senior now, so he's been in the system for a while. He's poised. He's a big guy. Personally, my opinion, I think he's better.
You think so in the back? I think I have to disagree with you.
I think Rosen's very good.
I think Rosen's probably the best quarterback in this conference.
I mean, it's very close. Honestly,
it's very close though. You can make an
I give it to Luke because of his accuracy, though. He's insanely accurate.
Okay, that's a valid argument.
His completion percentage is insane.
It's a valid argument. I just think Rosen has a. You say he has. I think Rosen might have a better arm.
Luke's is pretty strong.
Yeah,
he's a big guy. I would say if they're similar, I would still say that's very impressive on Rosen's end because he's smaller than Falk.
Yeah.
So
okay. Remember about going back to UCLA Bruins? They have 8 stars returning.
Yes, they do.
On defense, along with Eddie Vanderoos returning from injury.
Vanderoos, yeah.
And you're like, oh no, he's gonna butcher his name.
I was making sure.
Yeah.
I was making sure.
UCLA plays Texas A&M to start the season. They play at BYU and host Stanford in September. The schedule gets lighter after that. And they also play Utah and USC late in the season. Okay. They're actually going on the road against those teams, and I think they're in the weaker division, the South. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit weaker than the North, and I think that's why they might have a shot. And which leads me
to your last team,
who are also in the Pac-12, and it's not Stanford, and it's not Stanford. And it's not Cal. It is USC.
Wow.
Yes. USC is a sleeper team. I think they're possibly the most underrated team on this list. And
they're quite...
I think the most underrated team coming into this season, honestly. They're returning so much talent. They have the 1-2 punch of Ronald Jones and Justin Davis at running back. Mm-hmm. Receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, I think that's how you say his name. Schuster, who's a absolute stud.
He is.
They have the best group of defensive backs led by Dory Jackson.
Heisman candidate.
Exactly.
Sleeper that I gave you back last episode.
Yes. Who I think is also a top 5 college football player this year, Dory Jackson.
Yeah, top 5 corner, if not the best corner in college football.
Yeah, I know he is the best. I think he's the best. And if they can survive a very daunting schedule that includes Alabama in the opener. Week 1 at Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium.
Mm-hmm. They do have quite the tough schedule.
Yeah, and then 11 games against teams that qualified for bowl games last year. If they happen to compete really well, because I think this defense can compete with any team that they're playing against. I think they can have a legitimate shot if they happen to compete very well against the 12 teams on their schedule. I know that the departure of Cody Kessler will hurt the offense a little bit, but this defense is very for real.
Okay.
And I think they're going to be one of the best in college football this season.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So that was your list. You got UCLA, you got USC, you got Houston. And then give me the other two.
North Carolina and Louisville.
Louisville. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm going to give you my list, but first we're going to take our last break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. So, guys, don't go anywhere. If you are super interested in hearing my list, like you should be, because it's going to be off the walls bonkers.
Mine's better.
Okay, great. If you guys are interested in hearing it, don't go anywhere, because guess what? It's going to be amazing. Amazing. So, we're going to talk about some athletes. What is it?
Athletes?
Athletes. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
All right, we'll be right back at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast, dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
All right, we are back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, and my list for the sleeper picks of the college football playoffs. I'm going to start with one that Jeremiah had, and it's USC. Of course, if your memories are decently well and good, then you're going to remember what he just said, but I'm going to add a little bit. Starting their first game off their bye week. This is really going to be the important stretch of their playoff. I guess
potential playoff,
but I mean their playoff pursuit. They have Cal, Oregon, Washington, UCLA, and Notre Dame.
That's the second half of
the second half of their season. So if they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to need to have a really good first season, which you said is headlined by Week 1, Jerry's World, Bama. You got Utah, Utah State, who I think they can go toe-to-toe with. Stanford, they lost last year, but we're interested to see if they can come back and win it this year. You have the regular Utah Utes, not State. You have Arizona State, Colorado, and Arizona. If you can get through that stretch, I want to say I don't think they're going to beat Bama.
No, it's really tough to say.
It's hard to beat Bama.
It's hard.
Let alone,
if they can,
in a neutral site, let alone
if they can happen to keep it close, then
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm not saying no, but I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah.
But I think they can beat Utah State. I think they can beat Arizona State. I think they beat Colorado. That's 3 wins there out of 6 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So it's going to be interesting to see those games against Arizona State, against Stanford, against Arizona. If they can win those games, they could be looking at being 6-1, 5-2 maybe, heading into a very important stretch of 6 games. Actually, 5 games. Sorry, the end of the season. That Pac-12 championship thing threw me off. But it's gonna be important. It's gonna be important to see. So I also had UCLA. So I'm not going to go very in deep with UCLA. Again, another tough schedule. They have Texas A&M to start the year off. I think they can beat UNLV. I think they can beat BYU. I think they can go toe-to-toe with Stanford. I think they can beat Arizona again. Then they have Arizona State, Washington State, and Utah. Washington State did play them well last year, and they were in a lot of games, so it's always hard to guess those games. They lost to teams like Portland State last year, but they beat Oregon. They were toe-to-toe with Stanford. They were toe-to-toe with a lot of teams last year, so that's going to be a hard game to guess. Arizona State always plays UCLA well, but I think they can beat them. Stanford's going to be a really important game for them. But otherwise, they don't have as tough as a second half, excluding USC and Cal to end the year. So another team I think can do some damage. So the 2 teams that you did not have that I do have. Start with Notre Dame.
Okay.
Notre Dame had a good year last year. They have a pretty solid start of their schedule. Rutgers, Idaho, and Portland State. To be followed by Arizona, Stanford, and Oregon. I think they can get through that 4-1, 5-1. Let's see, 5-1. So that's 6 games. I'm sorry, 5-1. I think they can end that. Oregon's gonna be a tough call, and Stanford's gonna be a tough call, but I think they can beat Arizona, Portland State, Idaho, and Rutgers. After their bye week, they have Oregon State, Utah, Cal, USC, Arizona State, Washington State, which is gonna be cool. I've never seen Washington State play Notre Dame, so that'd be awesome. But pretty tough games, I would say. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. I'm sorry. You know what? I was totally reading my next pick. So, flip-flop.
Oh.
Washington. This is Washington.
I was about to say, I don't think Notre Dame played Washington State, do they?
Yeah, they have before, but they haven't. Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. So, Washington. We obviously talked about them last episode.
I almost had them.
Exactly, yeah. So so I still stand by what I said. They could totally come out of this 5-1. Stanford, I think, could beat Washington, but I think Washington could take Oregon. I think they can take Arizona, Portland State, Idaho. I think they can take Rutgers. It's going to be harder. Like I said, USC is going to give them a run for their money. Washington State always plays Washington in tough competition. Arizona State, it's going to be interesting to see what they do without their quarterback from the last few years. I forget the guy's name. Bruno Avicii, I think. I think he's on an NFL team right now, as a matter of fact. Smaller guy, though. Yes, he's going to be a tough game, and Cal's going to be a tough game. Otherwise, I think they can beat Utah and Oregon State. So interesting to see how that shape up. They're really going to take care of business in the first half because the second half is going to be tough. Cal, USC, Arizona State, Washington State in consecutive 4 weeks.
Not only that, they're in a tough division.
Yeah, and they're playing in Utah. They're playing in Cal. They're playing at home against SC and then Arizona State, but then they're back across the state lines, well, across the entire state, I suppose, to Martin Stadium in Washington and Pullman over there. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Apple Cup, Yes, Apple Cup goes this year, but really how that second half of the season goes for them. And then, like I said, Notre Dame. So Notre Dame actually starts the year off against Texas, an SEC team. And then they have Nevada, Michigan State. So Nevada's not necessarily a rollover win anymore.
Did you say Texas is an SEC team?
I'm not in Texas. I'm sorry. I was getting close to. I have an SEC team later. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. So Texas, Nevada, and Michigan State. 3 tough games. Those would be tough games for them. They play Duke. This isn't basketball, so it's probably going to be a nice win for them. But they play Syracuse, who is in a lot of games, but they don't really win a lot of games. And then Notre Dame, and then they play Stanford. They play Stanford in October there at home. So a lot of heavy front ends of these schedules for them. Texas isn't the team they used to be, so we'll see if Texas can win this game. Michigan State's probably going to be the hardest competition along with Stanford in their first 7 games there. I would say for sure. You're playing Stanford at home. It's a Saturday night game on NBC. It's what the 90s were all about, Second half of the season is much easier for them. They have Miami. Miami has been pretty good, and we'll see what they can do. But then they have Navy, who knows if they'll be what they were last year. You have the Army back-to-back, and then you have Virginia Tech. Not really, super tough matchups, at least it looks like now. But they end the season off, as they have often with USC. At home for them, USC, the Memorial Coliseum.
2 potential playoff teams.
Yes, that's why I made sure I mentioned that. Is that very well could be 2 potential playoff teams right there to end their year off. As a matter of fact, there's no independent championship game, but
that wouldn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's only like 6 teams in there.
Yeah.
But SC could be very well playing for a Pac-12 championship game and their life in the national in the playoffs. So. Interesting to see, but those are my 4 teams. Like I said, I'll cover them again. It's Houston like you had, UCLA like you had, USC like you had, and then Washington, the Huskies, and Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Oh, you have 5?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said 4.
No, I had 5.
Oh, okay.
I had 3 that you had and 2 of my own.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 4 on your list. I was like, okay.
Well, I had 5 for everything.
I like your list, man. I like it, but I think mine's better.
Yeah, I mean, you like I said, we had more than half of the same thing, so I don't know if it would really be. It would really come down to if you think your picks are better than Notre Dame and Washington.
I almost put Washington. I actually almost put both of them.
I didn't want to put Washington, but I
almost did because I have Jake Brownie as a dark horse candidate for Heisman, which I talked about in the previous episode, and I almost put Notre Dame because they're always in it every year.
For the most part.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the playoffs, but, yeah.
We'll have to see, man. It's getting close to the season, and it's getting exciting.
I can't wait. I wish football season was here, man.
Do you?
Well, maybe not in this heat, but, yeah.
It's pretty hot today, isn't it?
It's
106.
Yeah, here in Sacramento. 106, man, in Sacramento. It's supposed to be, I feel like it's the hottest week of the year here.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised. So far, at least, it's the hottest week.
I literally...
It's 106, 100, 102, 100, 100, 97, 97, 97, 97.
Man, it's just...
I looked on the break if you're wondering.
It's really hot in the studio right now. And I just want to be by the pool, sipping on some Coronas. But no, we all can't have what we want, so...
Well, guess what, man?
What?
The show is done for the day.
Oh, is it?
So maybe you'll get what you want.
Maybe... Oh, Okay.
But as always, we want to thank you guys for listening. You can find us on Twitter at the GSMC_football podcast, as well as on Instagram at the same handle. Don't forget to use the hashtag GSMC Podcast Network. You can find us on our Instagram, on our website, GSMCpodcast.com, as well as on Facebook. If you search the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, you can find all the wonderful shows on our network if you go to our website, as well as Facebook. Jeremiah's baseball show, my football show, obviously with Jeremiah here. I have sports, and I also do soccer. So listen to all of them. They're pretty great, as well as those commercials you obviously heard for the network. And I think it was health today.
It was either this episode or the last episode.
No, it was health today. I remember.
You do? Okay.
I got a mind like an elephant. I remember everything. But as always, I want to thank you guys for listening. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And we will be back on Wednesday. We're going to actually be doing 3 episodes so that you guys can enjoy a nice 4th of July.
Yes.
So you guys don't go anywhere this weekend. Well, I mean, have some great plans this weekend. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back Wednesday for our show.
Yes, we will.
So as always, like I said, I'm Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And we will see you guys next time.